Ethan leases a car. Ryan buys the exact same car. Both of them think they made the smarter decision, and for the first few years, one of them actually looks right. But when you run the full numbers over 5 years, 10 years, maybe even a lifetime, the winner changes completely. Because this isn't really about cars. It's about how modern monthly payments quietly shape your financial future, and most people never realize it until thousands of dollars are already gone. Let's keep this fair. Ethan and Ryan both make $55,000 a year. They both want the same car, a $30,000 sedan. Same model, same trim, same color. They walk into the same dealership on the same day. The only difference is what they sign. Ethan signs a 36-month lease, $2,000 due at signing, $299 per month. The salesman smiles and tells him it's a great deal. Low monthly payment, brand new car, full warranty. And in 3 years, he can just hand it back and upgrade to something newer, simple, clean, easy. Ryan takes the other route. He finances the same car with a 60-month loan at 6% interest, $3,000 down, $522 per month, more than $200 higher every single month. And Ethan notices immediately. On day one, Ethan feels smarter. His payment is lighter, his pockets are heavier, and driving off the lot, it genuinely feels like he beat the system. But there's something neither of them fully understands yet. Every payment Ryan makes slowly buys ownership. Every payment Ethan makes slowly resets the clock. And over time, that difference becomes massive. For the first 3 years, Ethan is loving life. Brand new car smell, full warranty coverage, no surprise repair bills. If something breaks, it's covered. Meanwhile, Ryan is making bigger payments every month while watching the car lose value in real time. The moment he drove it off the lot, that $30,000 car instantly dropped in value. By year one, maybe it's worth $23,000. By year two, closer to $20,000. Meanwhile, his loan balance is still high. For a while, he actually owes more than the car is worth. And psychologically, that feels terrible. Every payment feels pointless, like throwing money into a hole that keeps getting deeper. Ryan opens his banking app every month and sees another payment disappear while the value of the car keeps falling. And that's the part nobody prepares you for emotionally. Ownership sounds powerful in theory until you experience depreciation in real life. Meanwhile, Ethan looks like the winner. And honestly, at first, he kind of is. He has lower stress, lower monthly payments, better short-term cash flow. His car is newer, cleaner, more modern. Everything about the lease feels easier, and that's exactly why leasing is so appealing. It's optimized for how humans naturally think. Short-term comfort, immediate affordability, smaller monthly pain, because most people don't naturally calculate the full lifetime cost of a financial decision. They calculate whether something feels manageable right now. And dealerships understand this perfectly. That's why the first thing they slide across the table is never the total cost. It's the monthly payment, because monthly payments lower emotional resistance. $300 a month feels small enough to accept emotionally. $30,000 or $40,000 over time feels very different. But humans aren't wired to emotionally feel long-term math. We feel monthly pressure. That's why modern consumer culture runs on financing. Phones, cars, furniture, subscriptions. Everything today is built around one simple question. How low can we make the monthly payment feel? Because once the payment feels emotionally acceptable, most people stop asking questions. Let's run the numbers through year 3. Ethan has spent around $12,700 total. Ryan has spent almost $22,000. That's a massive difference. Nearly $10,000. On paper, Ethan is crushing him. And everybody around them would probably agree. Friends see Ethan driving a newer car with a smaller payment. Ryan is paying more every month for a car that's already losing value. Socially, the lease looks smarter, more efficient, more modern. But year 3 is where the story changes completely. Ethan's lease is over. Now he has 3 options: buy the car, return the car, or lease another one. And most people choose option 3, another brand new car, another contract, another down payment, another monthly payment. The odometer resets, but the payment never does. And this is where leasing quietly becomes dangerous. Because the cycle feels normal. 3 years passes quickly, then another 3, then another, And eventually people realize they've been making car payments almost continuously for 10 or 15 years straight. Not because they had to, but because the system was designed to feel comfortable enough to continue. Ryan is still paying his loan, and yes, it's frustrating, but every payment moves him closer to something. Ownership. There's an end date, a finish line. That's the real difference nobody talks about. Leasing feels lighter today. Buying becomes lighter later. One is a cycle, the other eventually ends. Month 60 finally arrives. Ryan makes his final payment. That's it. The car is his. No more monthly payments. No more bank ownership. No more financing contract hanging over his head every month. From this point forward, his only real costs are maintenance, gas, and insurance. Meanwhile, Ethan, still paying every month. And by now, the payment barely even feels noticeable anymore. It's become automatic. Background noise. Just another bill quietly leaving the account every month. That's the dangerous part. Humans adapt incredibly quickly to recurring payments. The brain stops questioning them. A car payment that once felt expensive slowly starts feeling normal simply because it repeats enough times. But background noise still costs money. Quietly, month after month, year after year. And this is where the long-term gap starts widening aggressively, because Ryan now has financial breathing room. Every month without a car payment creates flexibility. More savings, more investing, less stress, more freedom. Meanwhile, Ethan is restarting the cycle all over again. And the scary part is that it doesn't even feel financially reckless while it's happening. That's why so many middle-class earners stay financially trapped for decades, despite making decent money. The leaks are normalized, and constant payments are one of the biggest leaks modern consumers accept without questioning. But the monthly payment isn't even the full story, because lease contracts come with conditions, mileage limits, wear and tear fees, disposition charges, early termination penalties. Drive too many miles? You pay extra. Scratch the wheel? You pay extra. Return the car? Sometimes you literally pay them to take it back. And these costs almost never appear in the advertisements. The commercials only focus on the attractive number, only $2.99 a month. That word only changes everything psychologically, because people compare the payment to their current paycheck, not to the total lifetime cost. And the penalties don't feel real in the beginning because they happen later. That's another psychological advantage leasing companies have. Humans heavily discount future pain. A fee 3 years from now barely feels real emotionally today, until suddenly the lease ends and hundreds or thousands of dollars appear all at once. Now, to be fair, buying isn't perfect either. Once the warranty expires, repairs become your responsibility. Tires, brakes, oil changes, batteries, unexpected repairs. Some years the car costs almost nothing. Other years a repair bill ruins your month, and unpredictability scares people. At least with a lease, the costs feel controlled and stable. But here's the important part most people miss. Depreciation slows down dramatically over time. A brand new car loses value extremely fast in the first few years, but eventually that decline becomes much slower. And once the loan disappears entirely, the economics of ownership start becoming incredibly powerful. Because the car is still useful even after the payments are gone. That's the moment everything flips. Ryan's car gets older, but financially, his position gets stronger every single year. The longer he keeps the vehicle, the cheaper it becomes per year to own. Meanwhile, Ethan keeps resetting the most expensive years of depreciation over and over again every time he starts a new lease. And that creates a huge difference over decades. A lot of financially successful people understand this intuitively. That's why many wealthy people drive paid-off cars far longer than they technically need to. Because they understand that wealth isn't only about how much money you make. It's about how much money quietly stops leaving your life unnecessarily. And modern consumer culture makes this incredibly difficult. Because cars are emotional. People don't just drive cars. They attach identity to them, status, success, validation. A newer car feels like progress, even when financially, it might actually be regression. Social media makes this even worse. Everywhere you look, people are upgrading. New interiors, new technology, new luxury packages, new monthly payments. And slowly, driving a reliable paid-off car starts feeling behind. Even though mathematically, it's often one of the strongest financial positions you can be in. That's the trap. Consumer culture rewards appearances immediately. Ownership rewards patience quietly, and patience is much harder to show off online. Now stretch this difference across 10 years. Ethan has probably leased 3 or 4 separate vehicles by now. Tens of thousands spent in payments, fees, renewals, upgrades, and hidden charges. And after all that money, he still doesn't own anything. Ryan dealt with bigger payments up front. He dealt with depreciation. He dealt with repairs. But eventually the payment stopped, and the car stayed. That's the difference most people never fully calculate. One person normalized permanent payments. The other eventually escaped them. And when you multiply that difference over an entire adult lifetime, the numbers become enormous. 3 cars, 4 cars, 5 cars. Decades of continuous financing. The gap can easily become 6 figures. Not because one person earned dramatically more money, but because one person continuously prioritized ownership while the other continuously prioritized short-term comfort. Now to be clear, leasing can absolutely make sense in certain situations. If you own a business, there can be tax advantages. If you drive luxury vehicles with extremely expensive maintenance costs, staying permanently under warranty might genuinely be financially smarter. And if someone takes the money they save monthly by leasing and consistently invests the difference for years, the math can potentially shift. But that requires discipline most people simply don't have. Because in reality, most people don't invest the difference, they spend it. And that's why behavior matters more than theory. For the average person driving an average car, buying and holding usually wins long term. Not because it feels exciting, not because it looks impressive, but because eventually the payments stop. And that changes everything. Ethan and Ryan both walked into that dealership believing they were making the smart financial decision. Ethan thought he was saving money. Ryan thought he was building ownership, but neither of them initially understood the real question underneath the entire decision. Not, what can I afford monthly? But, what will this actually cost me over the next decade of my life? Because that's the number that actually matters. And most modern financial systems are designed to distract you from asking it. That's why people stay trapped in cycles they barely notice while they're happening. Small recurring payments, continuous upgrades, permanent financing, tiny leaks repeated for years, until suddenly an entire decade disappears. And the next time someone slides a monthly payment across the table and it looks almost too good to be true, pause for a second and ask the one question most people never ask. What does this cost me when it's all over?